The seventh edition of the lifetime, seventh edition of the Inked Happiness Award. Just one, I'm sorry, please. Okay, so welcome to the seventh edition of the Lifetime Inked Happiness Award. Before we commence, I have a few words of my own to sort of share with you. I have been an ardent user of fountain pen ever since I was a child. I am not a collector. Because of my profession, I had to write. Writing was the way of my life, it was my profession, and it still remains so. When I met Chong was a youngster at that point of time when I first met him. He was a guy who used to flaunt weird ties. He had a huge collection of ties. And I am talking about early 90s or middle 90s. And Chong always had a Mont Blanc in his pocket. Chong is the person who introduced me to the nuances of fountain pen. When I say nuances, I mean nuances beyond the instrument's ability to write. For most of us, it was just an instrument, a thing that would deliver certain things. But for Chong, it wasn't so. Fountain pen for him meant a whole hog of things that had no meaning for me at that point of time. And he was a guy who first told me that fountain pen is so important in our lives, yet people hardly talk about it. Now most of you know that Chong has been an ardent blogger and then a vlogger on fountain pens. And he happens to be my partner in my profession. I mean, in our business, we have a small partnership, and we keep talking about fountain pens. What is it that we talk about? Chong has a very interesting point. He says that fountain pen is just not a product. When we go to a shop, we buy pens. There are people who sell fountain pens, and there are people who make fountain pens. Yet the entire process doesn't have any connect. The people who make fountain pens are, in a way of speaking, totally dissociated with the guys who use the pen. And the guys who sell the pens have no inkling about what they are selling. That really was an interesting point. And he keeps talking about another thing. He says that Indian fountain pen makers do not really make an ardent effort to connect to the people who use them. Most of us who are here, we use fountain pens. Through words of mouth, we know about fountain pens. And through words of mouth, we know where to procure that. And largely this is online. We have a very venerable manufacturer, now a manufacturer and seller of fountain pen amongst us, who is going to be honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. But as a user, I can without any qualm say that Chong is true. Now why is Chong so important to the world of fountain pen? And there is one more in this audience. He is the guy who keeps enlightening us about the complex method of making fountain pens. fountain pen is just not a barrel which has ink in it and then it flows through the nail. It is a complex mechanism. It involves physics, it involves chemistry, and it involves design. Chong is the guy who almost, how should I put it, almost wages a lonely battle in this disconnected world. He is a lonely battle to connect these disjointed dots into a whole. And this award, this Lifetime Achievement Award, is also an effort from his part to bring on a single platform the users of fountain pen, the makers of fountain pen, and the people, a few number of people who still care about how the fountain pen is made, the legacy that it bears, and the history that it has behind it. So, let's give Chong a big hand. Sorry. It's a good form. It just doesn't break. Having said that, is someone I got introduced to again through Chong. Professor Pitkar happens not only to be a reputed professor of architecture, he is also an ardent fountain pen enthusiast. When I first met him, I was totally got enamored by him. And my wife keeps saying, in fact, when I met him yesterday in the morning here, my wife says that he is the guy. He's coming here off and on. He has been coming here off and on, and I think for the last 3-4 years now. And each time, his understanding of this fountain pen world, how it is made, and his experience with fountain pen has never failed to enthrall us. So, thank you, Professor Pitkar, for taking your time out and coming all the way from Bombay to Kolkata. And then we have Mr. Nikil Ranjan. He is going to be awarded today's Lifetime Achievement Award. The first time I met him, but I know him for a long time. In Calcutta, his store, the Quest Mall, was the place to go to for all of us, who wanted to buy inks, who wanted to buy pens. Quest Mall would be the place to go to. Then COVID happened, and all of a sudden, his store disappeared. And then all of a sudden, we saw a headline in Times of India in Calcutta that William Penn has bought over Sheaffer's. Mr. Nikil Ranjan and his online store happens to be my sustenance and to a lot of other people who need fountain pen accessories for their daily use. So, welcome Mr. Nikil Ranjan, please come over.
Thank you.
And next one is a legacy, Mr. Kaushik Muncho, the current owner of Shuleka. He and his family happen to be part of what Bengali is all about. If we talk about Bengali entrepreneurship, then Shuleka would be the one, and Shuleka remains one, as a major component in that history. And I still remember when we were doing, when I was doing my post-graduation, we had to do a course on entrepreneurship during the colonial era. Entrepreneurial reaction to colonial capital, wherever it got talked about, amongst other names, Shuleka was the company which would invariably crop up. If you look at the 30s of Bengal, late 20s and late 30s of Bengal, then the companies that came up at that point of time were all big names, big brands at that point of time. And unfortunately, except for Shuleka, none has survived. As you go to Shuleka's current office now, on the right you have Krishna Glass. It's a derelict building, Kandahar. Yet at one point of time, Krishna Glass was the top of the town, the top of the world. And there were others, of course. But the good thing is that at least one amongst them is still in production. So let us welcome Kaushik Muncho to the stage. So, to start today's program, I would call Chong to come over and talk about his passion. Why has he done this, the Inked Happiness Award, and the rest of his journey. Choices.
I don't have much to speak, or to say, because as it is, we are running late because of the traffic snarls and everything. I'm grateful to all of you for coming here, for taking time out from your busy schedules and coming here and blessing us with your presence. I'm grateful to Professor Pitkar, who has come all the way from Mumbai. Professor Pitkar is a busy man, as we all know. I'm grateful to Mr. Nikil Ranjan. He is extremely busy. As we were just talking, he travels almost 6 days a week. Still, when I called him up and he was saying that, this is very difficult for me. But he said, since you've called me, I'll definitely try and come. and here he is. We are grateful to you, sir, for coming here. I am also grateful to my friend and partner in crime, Mr. Kaushik Maitro. But more than everything else, we are grateful to Obijita, who is sitting here. If he had not taken the initiative that he has taken, and he had not come and loosened his purse strings the way he did, we would not have been able to hold this program. So I think a round of applause is due to him also. So I thank you, Suparna, for being our friend, philosopher, guide and everything. But I will not waste your time anymore, and I will request Professor Pitkar to come and please say a few words. Incidentally, Professor Pitkar received this award 3 years back. 3 years back in Calcutta only. Didi was there when he received the award. So, sir, if you please come.
First, I am very happy to be here, and it had been since the last when I came here a couple of years back that I said that let's have an event here, whether it's a pen show or whatever it be, because it's always a great pleasure to meet these friends, person sitting here, the people over here, and Nikil Ranjan, who also I know for more than 15 years. So it's more a friendship and meeting them that draws me to this place, and of course this award. And so what I would like to say, firstly though, I have to appreciate the efforts of Chawm Ganguly for putting up this 7th time, and I hope this continues all the way. In fact, I remember he only saying about legacy of stores, legacy of pens. So these kind of events should continue forever and after, because these are the places of the awards which gets people together and promotes the whole idea of what started as using a fountain pen all over. So I would say that, and even his YouTube videos, I have not missed seeing one video that he has produced, and at times I am a member on some other fountain pen group, so I make it a point to share his YouTube videos at other places, and with my students particularly, whom I still try to say that you must use a fountain pen. In fact, one of the first questions when I asked any class or any college where I go, and I said, "Chalo, welcome and good evening or good morning, depending on time." First question I asked, how many of you use a fountain pen? It is unfortunate that sometimes no one raises the hand. Sometimes a few people raise their hand, and then being a old-time professor with old anger, I give it back to them that you better use a pen. And then the reasons and the advantage. But efforts by Chong Ganguly and Sulekha particularly are well deserved for extending this whole idea of using pens, using ink. So congratulations, Mr. Chong. Kaushik Mitra, who's been a great host last time also, this time also, and whenever I had a talk with him, and I was reading about it sometime back of the history of it. It was, as he says, that it was way back in 1932-34 when Mahatma Gandhi on his Swadeshi Yatra did promote the whole idea of Indianness in everything that we do. And I still remember K.V. Ratnam starting the Rajamundri fountain pens, and they are still making it, and only few names like Ratnam pens and Sulekha is what I can still say are continuing that. Many companies from South India have come and gone, some from Andhra have come and gone. Very few could sustain that, and I'll be more than happy that Sulekha really becomes international at one point of a time. And here is one request I could make, and I saw it in the Starbucks where I saw the Sulekha inks, is that I can ask Nikil Ranjan that all his stores should have a Sulekha ink. Whichever it is, however it is. I mean, he has the best brands, and as a collector of ink bottles at one point, I think I had almost all the brands in the world. But Sulekha is one which I still have. I also use. and I wish his store has some of his inks just to promote the whole idea that we have a great ink in India also. Coming to Nikil Ranjan, I met him I think about long back, 15, 18 years. I was trying to scroll my phone and try and see, and I remember meeting in Phoenix Mall when he had invited Mr. Nagahala for the nib tuning workshop, and I remember I was not registered, but I just told him that I got two Sheaffer's pen. One was a Sheaffer Legacy in sterling silver, which I got tuned by Mr. Nagahala, and one was a much recent pen, and it was a great job, and he could do it, and at one point he had more than 30 outlets, and for reasons of giving talks, lectures, I keep traveling a lot, and whichever airport you go, you find a store. I am so very happy to walk into the store just to say, yes, I know the owner and everybody over there. You know, it's a great proud feeling that I have to be over there, and I was also very lucky to be there for the inauguration of his main store in Bangalore some years ago, where I could enjoy it. And the happiest moment that I had was when I heard that he has taken over Sheaffer company, because in my personal collection of few hundreds of pens and mechanical pencils, majorly Parkers and Sheaffers, which are great competitors, Sheaffer's was one which has been there for over 100 years, and when I heard that he has taken over, an Indian has taken over a company, I was very, very happy. I have a little, I'll divert a little for a minute, and I have something for Nikil Ranjan in the middle of something. Which goes back to the Sheaffer company. Here's a set of a pen and a pencil which was from my collection. It's a 80-year-old fountain pen and a pencil, fine line. The speciality of this pen and pencil is they were service pens. It is clearly written on the body of the pen, made by Sheaffer USA, service pens loaned by, there's a company which used to give these as loan to people who used to give the pen for repairs. On the pen it is written fine line 14K nib. It is from 1940-45, that's roughly about 75-80 years ago. Sheaffer service pen loaned by LD Seymour and Company India Limited, made in USA for fine line division of Sheaffer's. And I like the whole idea, and I use this particular line in my pen talks which I have been given. I think by now I have given this fountain pen talks at more than about 40-50 places. I said, look at the company Sheaffer, that they wanted to retain their customers so much that if for some reason the pen came for repair, they should give a replacement as a service pen. So from my old collection, here's a small gift for you, sir.
Thank you so much. Sir, just pen.
This is a pencil which is still working. Can you imagine a 75-80-year-old pencil which still works? And this is a fine line pen. It's all yours.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Very sweet of you, sir.
And lastly, like I used to always remember one more name in the pen industry of Anush Poddar, and in my talks I make a mention that the man, the Indian in the whole of the world making those AP limited edition pens, and when I found that Sheaffer's is now with an Indian pen, I am waiting for that day, hopefully in my own lifetime, that one day the greatest company which I enjoy talking about, reading about is the Mont Blanc pens. I wish Nikil Ranjan one day takes it over. Thank you and best of luck.
His family's legacy in ink. But I will not do that to you. I will not embarrass you. But I will request Kaushik to just share a few words about. You will not. Okay. So, so it's time for the award. Chong, please come over. And Mr. Nikil Ranjan, please.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't go back to your seat. It's time for you to share a few words with us.
Members on the dais, members in the audience, thank you so much for coming here. And first of all, a big, big thank you to Ink Happiness for this honor. A Lifetime Achievement Award. When I first heard about this, I thought it was a polite way of saying, that's enough ink for you. It's time to put the cap back on, Mr. Nikil Ranjan. But jokes apart, I can't think of a greater recognition than this award for dedicating my life to something as humble but yet magical as a fountain pen and of course ink. My journey with fountain pens and ink goes back a long, long way. I've had stains on my hands and shirts, a drawer full of pens and half-filled notebooks, and endless debates on whether the fine nib writes better or the medium nib writes better. By the way, there's no right answer to that. It's the nib that you enjoy writing with which you should continue using. Having said that, one of the most common questions I get asked is why fountain pens in this world that's full of digital devices and tablets? Invariably in social gatherings, I get asked this question and my answer is very simple. You really can't sign a love letter with emojis, can you? But seriously, in this hyper-connected world where we are constantly being bombarded with information, the true luxury is your ability to pause and think. And for me, and I'm sure for many, many others, a pen and a notebook create that space for us to pause, reflect, think, and put those words on paper. And in doing so, you leave a little bit of yourself in that piece of paper. The world is analog and digital is always a representation. Digital tools may mimic reality, but they really can't replace the authenticity of real world objects. Pens, books, notebooks have certain constraints, but it is these set of constraints that spark creativity. Look at the world around us today. People had written off books, notebooks, for that matter fountain pens, and we see a resurgence of paper books. We see a resurgence of bookstores. We are growing double digit. We have great conviction in the business that we are in, which is selling of fountain pens. And let me share with you that a third of our business comes from fountain pens. Of course, ballpoint pens, rollerball pens, and pencils are important, but a third of our business is fountain pens and inks. And that's testament to the popularity of fountain pens, and fountain pens are not going anywhere. Having said this, brands such as ours and brands in general in the writing space also have to evolve and evolve to appeal to the modern Gen Z consumer. Why do I say this? Simply because over the last 2+ decades that I have been in business, I see that consumer behavior has changed. Today, it's a lot more experience driven, it's certainly digitally influenced and values led more than ever before. and we all have to evolve as the consumer's expectations are evolving. In our own case, we have moved away from just talking about the product to telling a bigger and more immersive brand story across platforms, whether it's online or offline, which means digital first campaigns, which means influencer collaborations and lifestyle driven content that speaks to an aspiration as much as the product or the function. At the same time, we ourselves have to be conscious that we've got to be convenient and relevant to our audience. So whether it's omni-channel shopping, curated gifting, or formats that appeal to a younger, more informed audience, we need to make sure that all of us, all our brands, Sheaffer or any other brand that is today selling products to new age consumers, have to pay attention to. And if I were to give you just one example, last year we launched the Sheaffer Coffee Edition, and it really struck a chord. Why? Because it wasn't just a pen, it tapped into the whole coffee shop culture, something that the younger audience are deeply passionate about and find it very aspirational. In the last couple of years, after we have acquired the brand, it's been our most successful launch, and it just shows how powerful it is when a brand speaks the language of culture and aspirational language, especially to the younger audience. In fact, last year we conducted an extensive market research to talk to consumers, to ask them what they think about writing, the relevance of writing, and what is it that we as a brand that's globally known should look at seriously. And interestingly, women as a market for fine writing instruments and lifestyle accessories, we realized were largely underserved. So to address this, we are thrilled to introduce this year the Sheaffer Expressions range, a collection full of vibrant colors and fresh designs. But that's not all. We've got a really exciting collaboration with a very well-known Netflix series coming up later this year. The reason I'm saying all of this is just to emphasize the fact that we got to stay relevant. Writing is here to stay. There's beauty and charm in analog products, but unless we stay relevant, unless we wrap our products through effective storytelling and marketing, we may struggle. But if we are able to effectively do that, I am sure we'll all be able to sell more and enjoy these beautiful writing instruments that we all are passionate about. Through these launches and a lot more in the future, we hope to ensure that the modern consumer, both men and women, especially Gen Z, are excited about products such as ours. So yes, keep your eyes out. We are going to have one hell of a special year going ahead and a lot more excitement to come. Coming back, this award for me is not just about pens, it's about a passion. About believing that even in this digital age, the simple act of putting pen to paper can spark ideas and create legacies. After all, history has shown us that ink lasts longer than batteries. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family, my friends, my well-wishers who patiently put up with my obsession. From vacations that turned into pen store hunts to dinner table conversations that invariably end up about which brand is launching which new product, or the latest ink filling mechanism, or the barrel designs. It goes on and on and on. I'd like to thank my team at William Penn and now Sheaffer, who have worked tirelessly over the last 2+ decades, who have been responsible for all that I'm representing today, and thank you to my team. A big thank you to this wonderful community of writers, collectors, readers, dreamers and aficionados like Chongda, like Mr. Maitra, like Professor Pitkar and so on, who remind me that every day that pen is not just mightier than the sword, but far mightier than the keyboard. I'd like to thank our consumers who have stood by my side, supported us as William Penn, now as Sheaffer. We have many of our well-wishers and partners here. I see Mr. Rajiv Punjabi, I see Mr. Kirit and Arun Latia, and I see many other familiar faces who have been with me, along with me through this journey over the last 2+ decades. So as I humbly accept this award, let me say this, that the ink is still flowing, the story is still being written. If you ever see me with blue fingers, don't worry, it's not a medical condition, it's just happiness, inked happiness. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
72-3. And yes, if you have written your first love letter with a fountain pen, then the name that wrote that will still be with you, but not if you had written with a ballpoint pen. So I would like to call Mr. Obhijit Chatterjee, who has a surprise for Chong.
Who are listening, eagerly watching what is happening. Now, Chom has an association with me in one way is that he belongs to the same alma mater where I study. Apart from Chom, there are others too. Shovita is there. I proudly remember that he is a pencil collector. And I saw in one Inked Happiness that post where he was actually speaking, and I was really surprised that I know he had this habit of collecting stamps and all. I used to collect stamps. I even collected some coins, but not like a, what I should say, that passionate so much that I used to scribble. One thing is that I collected some coins. Obviously some friends helped me, chalo, ye niyashi. Okay, chalo. Then stopped, again started collecting vinyl records. I had a lot of them. Still now I have. Then that also stopped because I was transferred. I was in government service. So what happened when I was in Alipur, there was some kabaris, you know, they used to keep these records and they just bring those, and I think, my goodness, how these records will work. They said, no problem sir, you just try to use it. If there is any damage, you will replace it. I mean, you may replace it, but I won't be getting that particular record. I may get some other record, but not that particular record. Anyway, in this way, the passion for fountain pen came to me once. When I was walking through Hajra, I remember in one shop, I saw a fountain pen. I remember in school where we used to write with this, that Artex pens, I remember, because we were not fortunate enough to buy expensive pens, mainly for the reason that it may be stolen, it may be damaged, and I got one Wilson pen in my college life. I was not fortunate to use a Wilson pen even in my school. So I gave my Madhyamik exam most likely with some like that Artex or something other. I just don't remember the brand. But I started, then when I switched over to my service life, I started collecting and started with a Parker. And then the passion went on, and it went to such an extent that I must say I was a crazy mad fellow. Collecting this and that, and watching those YouTube videos and all, everything, and those are all, you know, foreigners. Maximum people who actually inspired me at that time, not inspired, as I was forced, because the way they speak and the way they say something, oh, this pen is nice, this one is this one is that, this one is that, everything like that, and I started collecting. Obviously, considering my pockets, I don't have the capacity to buy a Mobla. It's not possible for me. Still now, I won't be. Even if I go for a bank robbery also, I won't be. Okay, it is better for me to stick to click pens or to Asa pens or to Lotus pens. These are all. And this is because of Chong. I must admit one thing. Chong has, when I saw inked happiness and I saw one particular gentleman speaking their Bengali like tone in English, and I said, it's very amazing. And I know that he's an Indian man. And the way he started, in every post I saw, I was overwhelmed. Now I got the taste of Indian fountain pens, and that is possible only due to Chong. There was no other, I don't think, there are others, definitely there are other people who are with YouTube posts about fountain pens and all, but Chong is an exception, I must say. The way he writes, he says, he scribbles, I see the notes and everything, yeah, he inspired me a lot. Thanks Chong, because he is also so favorite in a sense that he is a South Pointer, where I also studied. He is junior to me. That also brought him closer to me. And on one occasion, I started thinking how to reach that fellow. He is always busy, and how the opportunity came in the book fair. I remember when Shulekha introduced a stall and he was standing. I just went before it and said, you must be Chong. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a subscriber of your young Eat Happiness. Oh, he said, oh, yes, is it? বাংলায় শুরু হয়ে গেল আলাপ, যাই হোক তারপরে চম আস্তে আস্তে আমার ক্লোজ হয়ে গেল, খুব কাছে চলে এলাম দুজনে। সাউথ পয়েন্ট হেল্প করেছে, আমাদের স্কুল ডেফিনেটলি হেল্প করেছে। তো দ্য থিং ইজ, ওয়ান থিং উইচ অ্যাকচুয়ালি I was really surprised that Chom is giving so many things to so many persons. This is lifetime achievement award. Now, Chom is giving. Who is giving to Chom? Chom is not getting anything from anybody. Obviously, Chom is there, but definitely there are some other heads behind him who is helping him. But Chom is the man, and I must say that from the very beginning he was so inspired. So I thought it that in a little way, can I help him in? So I have this, and you know, I told you that, sir, that are crazy, mad, whatever you call me. I try to scribble with so many things and go for handcrafted things. So when I talked to Chong day before yesterday, so I told him that, well, Chong, your lifetime achievement award from my end is there, is a handcrafted one. So when can I reach your home tomorrow? Dada, I am so busy now, I am going to pick Mr. Professor Pitkar. You do one thing, you come to this Metropolitan Club and you give it to me. And it's, well, not bad idea. So I came up with him, and I know that Chom's better half is sitting, and this will definitely help both of them in a way that রবীন্দ্রনাথের গান আছে যে আমরা জানি, আমি গাইতে পারি না, একসময় গাইতাম কিন্তু এখন গাইতে যাবো না, গাইলে আপনারা পালিয়ে যাবেন সবাই। যাও, সেটা হচ্ছে ওই যদি প্রেম দিলে না প্রাণে। তো আমার যে জিনিসটা অনেকটা সেরকমই কাজ করবে, দুটো আছে এটার মধ্যে, একটাই আমি একটু অল্প ওপেন করবো, কারণ আপনারা হয়তো উৎসুক হবেন এই জিনিসটাকে। আমি যদি প্যাকেট শুধু দিয়ে দিই তাহলে বুঝতে পারবেন না জিনিসটা কী দিচ্ছি, বাট ডেফিনেটলি আই এম গিভিং সামথিং। আশা করি ওর হেল্প হবে। আর যেটা আমি চাই, যখনই আমি এরকম জিনিস কাউকে দিয়েছি, আমার একটা ভগবানের কাছে প্রার্থনা থাকে এই জিনিস যেন জীবনে ওদের আলোকিত করে, ভালো রাখে। এটা চম ডেফিনেটলি ভালো লোক, কারণ ফাউন্টেন পেন যারা ইউজ করছে প্রত্যেকেই ভালো আমি মনে করি। তাই অবশ্যই আমার তো তার ধারণা, আমি জানি না কারা কি বলবে। ফাউন্টেন পেন সম্বন্ধে এটা চারটিখানি কথা নয়, একটা পুরোনো প্যাশন। আপনারা ভাবুন, এখন আবার নতুন করে কেউ কেউ নিচ্ছে, আমরা ইউজ করছি আবার করে না। সুলেখার একটা কালি আছে, অবশ্য আমি ভুল করে যাচ্ছি বারবার, যে আমাদের আরেকজন ফ্রেন্ড আছেন মৈত্রমশাই, আমি আর নাম করছি না। তো আমরা ছোটোবেলা থেকেই সুলেখা থেকেই, মানে সুলেখা নিয়ে অভ্যস্ত। সুলেখা কালি বাদ দিয়ে আমার মনে হয় না কোনো কালি আমি ইউজ করেছি বলে। পরে অবশ্য বোধহয় চেলপাট টেলপাট এসেছিলো, সেগুলো ইউজ করি খুব কম, শুধু সুলেখাই দেখেছি। এবং আমার মনে আছে বটলসগুলো স্কোয়ার বটলস ছিল। তো আমি বলেছিলাম কৌশিককে যে এটা যদি সম্ভব হয়, বটলসগুলো এখন একটু চ্যাপটা হয়ে যাচ্ছে, ওটাকে কি স্কোয়ার বটলস করা যায়? তো সেই আবার সেই যে বিখ্যাত গ্লাস ক্রিস্টাল গ্লাসের কথা উঠলো যে তারা উঠে গেছে, সেই ডাইস নেই, সুতরাং এখনো পর্যন্ত এটা করা সম্ভব হয়নি। করলে বলতে ভালোই হতো, আমাদের অন্তত প্যাশনটা আর একটু ভালো লাগতো আর কি। এনিওয়ে আমি আর বেশি বকব করবো না, কারণ অনেক সময় আপনাদের আছে, হয়তো আরও পরে বক্তা আছে। আমি আমার জিনিসটা দিচ্ছি চমকে, মানে আমার তরফে লাইফ টাইম অ্যাচিভমেন্ট কথাটা বলা হয়তো আমার ঠিক আছে, যাই হোক।
Chom is still young, don't give him lifetime achievement.
এটা একটা মানে এটা হচ্ছে বেড সাইড ল্যাম্প অ্যাকচুয়ালি, যে অন্ধকারে জ্বালালে খুবই সুন্দর লাগার কথা। চম বলতে পারবে, আমি
জ্বালানো বানানটা কি? কারণ চমের ক্ষেত্রে জ্বালানো শব্দটার অন্যরকম অনেক রকম মানে আছে।
সেটা তো আমি বলতে পারবো না, সেটা আপনারা যদি কেউ বলেন তাহলে বুঝতে পারবো।
Sir, you didn't get it, I will explain.
ওকে, ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে, সাবধানে আরেকটু বলে নিই, এখন বলে দিচ্ছি যে যেহেতু এটা একটা, আমি বললাম যে চম আমাকে এই সুযোগটা করে দিয়েছে যে সবার সামনে এসে দেওয়া। আমি একটু মানে এম্বারাস ছিলাম, আমি কারা কারা থাকবেন, সব পণ্ডিত লোকেরা আছেন বিভিন্ন রকমের বিভিন্ন জায়গা থেকে। তারপর বললাম না, চলেই যাই, চম যখন বলছে একটা আশা নিয়ে। তা আমার চম বলছিল যে দুজনকে আমরা এবারে করছি, প্রফেসর পিটকারকে আনছি এবং উইলিয়াম পেনের যিনি নিখিল রঞ্জন উনিও আসছেন। তা আমার মনে হচ্ছিল যে আমি এরকম বললাম না, ক্রিয়েটিভ কিছু কিছু আমার পাগলামি আছে, সেরকমই আমি তিনজনকেই দিতে চাইছি, এবং সেটা শুভ জিনিস, মানে আমাদের ভারতীয় সংস্কৃতিতে এটার ব্যবহার আছে, আমি আমার মতো করেছি। তো ওটা কি সেটা দেখলে বুঝতে পারবেন আপনারা। আশা করি এটাও আপনাদের সবাইকে ভালো রাখবে, সুস্থ রাখবে, কারণ আপনাদের দরকার এই মানে ওয়ার্ল্ডে, ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ল্ডে এই ধরনের ক্রিয়েটিভ লোক, যাদের মানে ক্রিয়েটিভ লোক মানে আমাদের ওনারা গাইড করেন, হেল্প করেন, সেটা দিয়ে আমরা লিখে যাই, আনন্দ পাই। সেই জন্য আমি চাইছি ওনারা সুস্থ থাকুন, ভালো থাকুন, মানুষকে এইভাবে উপকার করে যান এবং আনন্দ দিয়ে যান, সেটা মনে করি আমি দিচ্ছি, ওটা আমি দিচ্ছি ভালো। তুমি লিখে দাও তাহলে হবে।
I would request Kaushik to come over and deliver his vote of thanks.
You can continue.
I don't have anything more to say.
I am not in the habit of speaking in public forums, but this time Chong told me that you have to. So, since I am not a good orator or anything like that, I have written down what I am going to say. It's short, I think 1 or 2 minutes. It's from the feeling I have for what he called selfless service. We have heard the term so many times, but I came to realize that term only after I met Chawm. I think it was the first inked happiness. Before that we met, and I never knew, and he tried to convince me about fountain pen and inks and things like that. I said, no, I am doing some other kinds of business and I am not interested in fountain pens and inks anymore because no one uses it. We had that store here. I don't know what we used to make and sell. I didn't have an idea of the price of the inks at that time. And we were selling ink bottles for 20 rupees or 25 rupees, something like that. And Chawm told me that, you know what you are doing, you are losing out a lot of money. I have all the inks. I have collected the inks from your shop. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? And he really motivated me. He pushed me hard. And then there was COVID. At the time of COVID, I was fortunate enough to stay indoors only for 4 days. We were asked by the government of West Bengal to manufacture sanitizers, and then we tied up with Jaipur University to manufacture certain kinds of masks and PPTs. So within 4 days I got the drug license and also the license from the authorities to move around the city. So I used to take lots of sanitizers with me, and I used to distribute it also with my friends. And during the time of COVID, when the lockdown was going on, I think we met several times. I went to his house, I not inside his house, but I used to stay outside his house. And he went on convincing me. And finally Shulekha was relaunched in that year, in 2020, on the day of Kali Puja. So we call Kali in Bengali to the ink. And the day of Diwali, the ink was launched. We priced a set of 3 Swadeshi inks at 1250. I manufactured only 10 sets. I was totally convinced. The Chonda is going to take one, which I am going to gift, and the rest 9 will stay with me. He said, don't worry, let's see what happens. He uploaded it immediately in his blog with the photographs. And you won't believe, before midnight, we got 50 orders. That incident convinced me that there is something, we are missing out something. And the journey started. So, I really salute what Chawmda and Ink Happiness are doing for fountain pen and accessories and his entire community. I just salute and respect them. From then onwards, Shulekha has been associated with Ink Happiness Lifetime Award, and I must say that it has been a journey that has given us an immense pleasure, immense amount of contentment and happiness. I shouldn't say only thank you to him, I should say thank you to Ink Happiness for joining and encouraging Shulekha for starting the Column Club, which is a not-for-profit initiative by us, me, Chawmda, our Master Moshe, who is the Secretary of Headmaster Association of West Bengal. He is also here with us, who puts in a lot of effort in this. And we are trying to introduce fountain pen and inks to students. We have already visited more than 100 schools, including schools like Kadena, Narendra, and many government schools. I don't want to go on and on. I want to come to the close of the ceremony. But as Chong said, we, me and Chong, both believe that we will fail on our duties if we don't acknowledge the contribution of our another heritage ink maker. They were making inks in 30s. They were very near to us as the crow flies. Their company in Shulekha was, I think, within 1 kilometer. The ink name was Basinth. The brand name they then changed to Profile for making drawing inks. Its main driving force, Mr. Ovijit Ghosh, who helped us to raise the funds to make this event happen in this way. Incidentally, me, Chawmda, we are fortunate that we belong to the same school, although in different years. And it's a happy coincidence that we three of us now are working together to make ink and pen popular throughout the community, particularly in Eastern India. I will remain ever grateful to this person who received the award this year, Mr. Nikil Ranjan, for what he has done. I mean, a fantastic thing. We were discussing, when we were discussing whom should we give the 7th award. So his name cropped up. You know, Shulekha is the Swadeshi company. We believe in Swadeshi thing, the power of the nation, the power of the people of the nation. And when we found that a person of our country has now gone out to purchase Sheaffer's, a brand of the West, prestigious brand of the West, we decided we must honor him. That's the honor. Through giving him the honor, we are honoring our forefathers who fought for independence. Thank you, Mr. Ranjan, for coming down from Bangalore all the way to Calcutta. He had a very tight schedule, and he is leaving tomorrow, I believe. So thank you again, sir, for coming down here. I would like to thank our friend, philosopher and guide, who is Professor Pitkar, such a decent man and a knowledgeable man. He talks so little. I mean, he was staying here, he is staying in the club, and the club housekeeping was telling me, where is Professor Pitkar? He is a guest, but he doesn't have any demand. He doesn't call us. Is he okay, sir? I said, yeah, he is okay, he's fine. He has gone out, he had his breakfast. I said, that's fine, nice to hear that. But he never called us. I don't know why, sir, but he was such a decent, such a beautiful person, and it's always so nice talking to him. We discussed today, yesterday we talked a lot during the dinner. Today in the afternoon we were discussing about Indian fountain pen runnings, and he had such a vision, great vision. And the vision encompasses everything, as Mr. Ranjan was telling, Nikil Ranjan was telling, and Mr. Pitkar was telling. We are also trying to combine the field of art, the field of design, into the ink making, notebook making, stationery making, and of course fountain pen making. And I should mention here that we have tied up with Jadavpur University. Recently we have tied up with the Innovation Council of the university, and we are working with the central government in developing certain special models of pens, innovative type things. That has been done recently. And finally, I would like to thank Mr. Chatterjee for the surprise thing. I never knew that. So it's handwritten here, your name. For the beautiful gifts you presented to Mr. Ranjan and to Chong. And well, of course, here he is sitting dressed in the pure Bengali Babu style, except the Punjabi, which is in a different color. He should have been white. You look better in a white Punjabi. I have seen him. Our extraordinary mentor and guide, Mr. Suparna Pathak, for conducting the entire ceremony.
Thank you.
And also, finally, the Eastern Metropolitan Club and its staff for tirelessly working to make this event a success. And many thanks to all of you who, in spite of these very difficult road conditions, we know, I believe there is a movement of the President of India today, and the bypass, which is the lifeline, is in a horrible state of state. It's taking more than double or triple the time. And thank you all for coming here and in this beautiful evening. Thank you, thank you all. We have a small arrangement for coffee and little samosa for all of you to enjoy and relax. Thank you. Arrangement for that.
Thank you very much, sir.
One more, sir.
Yes, of course. There's three of us stand together.
No.
Sir, two.
Sir. Hello, sir. It close. ঠিক আছে আমার একটু দেখার ইচ্ছে ছিল যেটা দিল না
Special box. This is handwritten, unused for 36 years. Ink भी dry हो गया उसका
ঘুরিয়ে দিন একটু
ऐसा भी यूज करके
একটু ঘুরিয়ে দিন না খুলে ঘুরিয়ে দিন
This was purchased in 1989, 26 years ago.
This page does not
सर आपका वो भी है हाँ वो पेन लेके आया
One with that you press the of course. See, I'm a customer of William Penn. Thank you. I bought a one-star water, the JF Kennedy when we launched it in Kolkata color. That's no longer available. Simple items.
Your name, as soon as they said his name, the mic dropped. The mic dropped. So, you know, naturally the mic dropped.
Ma'am, ma'am. Hold. One more, one more. Thank you. Sir, sir. थोड़ा सा इधर एक तो सर जी वन मोर सर सर जी सर जी look at it please sir
I know of, at least 60 are there.
तो पीछे ना
Shop bombed last time.
Yeah, this time we will try to make it.
Come to our Ceremonial store.
Hello. Ready?
Thank you.